Welcome to Daily Office Devotions. I'm Reggie Kidd, and every Monday through Friday I offer devotional observations on some portion of that day's readings for morning prayer in the Book of Common Prayer. Thanks for joining me this Thursday. This happens to be year 2 of the daily lectionary, and this week we are in Proper 21. Today's lessons are a study in what is the one great enemy of the human soul. This enemy, the writer to the Hebrews names the deceitfulness of sin. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 13. Sin's deceitfulness, Hosea. The sin of false worship deceives the northern kingdom of Israel as to what threatens her well-being. Her spiritual adultery has brought dire consequences. She thinks she is under threat from outside forces, from Judah, the southern kingdom, and so she seeks unholy alliances with Assyria. But it is chiefly the ferocity of Yahweh's jealous love that she has brought upon herself. I will be like a lion to Ephraim. I will tear and go away. I have hewn them by the prophets. Hosea chapter 5 and 6. The answer is really quite simple, if not easy. Steadfast love, as opposed to a false, temporary love like a morning cloud, like the dew that goes away early, chapter 6, verse 4. And not sacrifice. For though they could barely realize it at the time, one day there will be a sacrifice that results in a third day raising up to life, chapter 6, verse 2. The knowledge of God, that is intimate and exclusive fellowship with their true husband, Yahweh, rather than burnt offerings, smells and bells, minus heart devotion. They stir God's disgust, not his affections. Hosea chapter 6, verse 6. Sin's deceitfulness, Luke. In Jesus' confrontations with the scribes and the Pharisees, Luke chapter 6, verses 2 and 7, over the significance of the Sabbath day, the deceitfulness of sin manifests itself in their misunderstanding of the significance of God's commands generally and his command to keep the Sabbath specifically. David had put the well-being of his companions ahead of the sanctity of the showbread, and in doing so, he had embodied the principle that steadfast love outweighs sacrifice. 1,000 years later, Jesus comes as the Son of Man to underscore the point. God sympathizes with humans in their suffering. Healing as he does on the Sabbath, Jesus, the Lord of the Sabbath, embodies the principle that the Sabbath is a gift for restoration and healing, not a summons to smug, sanctimonious, spiritual self-promotion. Sin's deceitfulness, Acts. Sin's deceitfulness is in full force when Paul's enemies misrepresent him as having violated Jewish scruples about bringing Gentiles into the temple precincts. Indeed, as far as Paul is concerned, Christ's sacrifice has destroyed the dividing wall between Jew and Gentile, Ephesians chapter 2, verses 14 through 16. But out of respect for his countrymen, Paul has honored their principles, leaving the Gentile members of his retinue outside while he enters the temple. Paul desires to win unbelieving fellow Jews with God's love, not bludgeon them over their spiritual blindness. Not so long ago, he himself had not been able to figure out that God's Messiah had come in the person of Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus had had to appear to him personally. Now he is committed simply to telling and showing the good news, letting Christ do the convincing. Sin's deceitfulness can be taken away by the Lord. It really can, but only by the Lord. Paul knows that, and so should we. A fitting conclusion for our meditation on these passages is the urging from Hebrews. Take care, brothers and sisters, that none of you may have an evil, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. But exhort one another every day, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. Hebrews chapter 3, verses 12, 13. Be blessed this day.